Now, we're going to get real weird here in a second. Okay. Now, we're going to get real weird here in a second. Okay. Hello, so how's everybody? Great. A little hot out here, but, we're going to manage to try to keep it cool somewhat. And you already understand basic music, right? I'm not going to get too into that because that's another thing. But I'm going to give you a basic idea. I'm going to try to talk about dissonance. Suppose we do something like... We need something to create some tension. Cool? Are you with me? Okay. I don't know what it is. It sounds good to me. Now, we're going to get real weird here in a second. For example, now, we're going to get real weird here in a second. Okay.
Hi guys, good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. All right, so let's get ready to discuss some digital marketing today. Let's get ready to discuss some digital marketing today. All right, so this is the Digital Marketing Masterclass. I'm going to share some tips with you today. So if you know of anyone who would need a little bit of knowledge on digital marketing, especially if you're a practicing marketer, maybe even if you're a senior marketer.
We're going to get real weird here in a second.
Or if you are an entrepreneur, okay? So get ready. Please share the link, or you can share the live broadcast on Facebook as well with anyone who needs it, okay? So for the next 1.5 or 2 hours, we're going to discuss a fair bit of examples, theories, practical ideas, everything that I believe you should know as a digital marketer. All right? Okay. So let's get started. So I want to start the session by playing you a small video. My name is Louis Dias. So don't forget, please log on to our Cambridge College Facebook page or Louis Dias page, and then share the link with anyone who you think would need it. Okay, so today's session is going to be a fairly interactive session. I'm going to play some videos to start. And I want to ask you right now, something before we start, right? So could you mute your mics as well? Could you mute your mics, please? Could you mute your mics? Right. So before we start, I want to ask you whether you know what the #1 most highest played video on YouTube in the world, on the planet is. I don't know. Do you know what it is? In January 2020, maybe some of you are Googling it at the moment. And it's amazing. In the month of January 2021, the highest watched YouTube video on the planet, I'm going to play it to you right now. So brace yourself, right? This is the highest watched YouTube video with 8 billion, not million, 8 billion views on YouTube, okay? Surpassing Ed Sheeran, Shakira, all the superstars that we have on the planet. Even if Michael Jackson was alive, he would not have so many views, okay, right? And this channel, Pinkfong, and this song is very, very special to me because I have a 2-year-old daughter. So if you don't have a 2-year-old daughter, you don't understand this song. You don't understand this song, right? And this is the highest. Here you go, almost 8 billion views. And there are many videos. This one in particular has 8 billion views. 8 billion views. Pinkfong. All right, watch this. You can sing along, all right, if you know the song. Crazy, huh? 8 billion views on YouTube, surpassing all the songs, the porn, and everything else there is on the web, right? This one's called the Shark Song. Let's go hunt, let's go hunt, let's go hunt, let's go hunt. I can't believe I'm playing my 2-year-old daughter's song right now to a lot of people out there. But it's funny. It's funny. And this is going to be like that Muttaya Muralidharan test cricket 800 wicket record. Okay. No one's going to break this for a while. Because you know why? Kids keep watching this over and over and over and over again. So no one's going to break it for some time unless someone comes up with a better song. Okay. And you know already the highest monetized YouTube channel in the world is from Ryan Toy Review, who's a 10-year-old, right? And I have another son who's 7, who's watching at the moment. Hi, Josh, right? So his God is not me. I'd like to be his God, but his God is Ryan, who's in California, who earned in Sri Lankan rupee terms, 5.4 billion equivalent dollars last year in 2020. So even as you and I struggled to earn a living last year, a 10-year-old and his parents earns 5.4 billion, okay? Monetized by YouTube, the highest monetized YouTube channel on the planet. So I thought I'll start our session on digital marketing with you today on that tone for you to understand. Perhaps you didn't know about this. Right? And I'll tell you, 8 billion is a lot of views. I don't think even if Halle Berry was naked, she would have 8 billion views, right? 8 billion, Ping Fong, Baby Shark, and you have to try it. You have to try it as well, right? It's amazing. It's a catchy tune. Right? So that's digital marketing for you today, folks. That's digital marketing for you today. If I can sum up digital marketing for you, Ping Fong from nowhere comes out and becomes the #1 played song on YouTube. So today, with the advent of the digital landscape unfolding between us, I can tell you, there's a big problem. A lot of senior marketers, senior practicing marketers, marketing directors, CMOs, chief marketing officers, marketing managers, they are all becoming irrelevant. I'll tell you why. Their knowledge, the traditional knowledge they had on ATL and BTL and other forms of print and other forms of advertising media, everything's getting irrelevant. You have to unlearn everything. And it has been sort of expedited with the whole pandemic. The whole digital methods and techniques which we're going to run today. And I'll tell you, very soon, millennials and maybe even the next generation after, the alpha generation or whatever you call it, will start getting the jobs of very senior marketers in companies. You know why? Because they are able to garner and get more customers at a lower cost. And they are able to go out there and bring more business at a lower cost. Because the senior marketers don't understand digital marketing. The senior marketers are not willing to unlearn what they know. They are not willing to unlearn what they know. They don't want to learn Google Analytics. They don't care about what's the #1 video on YouTube. Who cares? I'll just run an ad on primetime news on whatever media channel. That's not going to work. And that is changing a lot. So today, if you want share of voice, today, if you want your brand to be out there, and if you are especially as a part of a startup, and if you want to grow really fast, if you want to be perhaps a unicorn brand, okay, and if you want to grow really fast, without digital, you're not going to make it. You are not going to make it. And someone's going to start something somewhere very small and going to launch it in your backyard, and with a little shoestring budget, and use smart digital techniques, and going to disrupt you. They're going to disrupt you. So your buildings, your furniture, your thousands of people, everything's going to be relevant. Now that's the danger. That's the danger of you not willing to shed your skills and have new skills, contemporary digital skills that we are going to talk about today. So some of this that we are discussing today, maybe some of you millennials might know, some of you senior marketers might not know, right? So today is only the tip of the iceberg. You might need to start delving into digital marketing a whole lot more, right? So I want to start with my first slide. So when we talk about digital marketing, I suppose you can see my screen. Let me share my screen with you now. Right? So we talk about digital marketing, guys. Is here to stay. And you can never finish learning digital marketing because it's always evolving. The platforms are always evolving. Google's always evolving. Facebook's always evolving. Instagram, and now there are the Snapchats of this world, and the other forms. Zoom from nowhere. 1 year ago, no one knew who on earth Zoom was. Today is one of the top 100 brands in the world. And people who resisted Zoom and say Zoom is a fraud, Zoom won't work, and all that, they have now seen that it's a top 100 brand in the world. I'm using Zoom at the moment, right? And that's how marketing changes. It's going to be so fast that you won't be able to keep up to date with it. So when we're talking about types of media, little bit of theory for you, and I'll go into some practical applied stuff after that. When you talk about media, there are three forms of media. You have what we call paid media, owned media, and earned media, right? So when you talk about owned media, we're basically talking about the repositories or the properties, right? Your website, your mobile app. Can you go through your mobile phone to your website? Is it mobile friendly? Your blogs, if you do have any, your social media channels. So as an organization, you need to make sure you are now on almost all the contemporary channels where your customers are. I mean, if you're not on TikTok at the moment, it's a problem, right? Because TikTok is one of the fastest growing channels, most watched, especially in the millennials and even younger, right? So 20 to 25, they're all on TikTok. And if your brand's not there, if you are not there, then you would be perceived as a traditional brand or a traditional product. So you need to look through your platforms. What are the new platforms? How can we optimize? I mean, last week we saw Instagram launching Instagram Reel, and Instagram says with Instagram Reel, they're going to beat the growth rates of TikTok. You know what happened, no? Last month with the US elections, Mark Zuckerberg did something very smart. Mark Zuckerberg, the USA, they work hand in glove with their biggest companies like Google and Facebook and all that. And they can change governments, they can do a lot of things. And, so when it comes to TikTok, TikTok was a Chinese brand. And the growth of TikTok really upset the US companies and even the US government, right? Because everyone was on that platform and that was owned by the Chinese. And especially in the USA, it was growing really fast, beating other platforms. So what did the US government do? They banned, Donald Trump banned TikTok in USA, and they told them, you have X amount of time, make sure that majority share holding of TikTok in the USA is given to a US company. And we saw that Walmart bidded for it, Facebook bidded for it, Google, a lot of others, had a go to buy 51% of TikTok in the US market. Otherwise, they were given a deadline, they were going to stop TikTok, right, in the US market. And as a result, today, you see Mark Zuckerberg taking control of TikTok, right, in the US market, So my point I'm trying to share across to you is if you have these platforms, Snapchat is big today. There are lots. I don't use it personally, right? But there are lots who use Snapchat today. Instagram Reels, watch out for it. It's going to be bigger than it's the countering strategy for TikTok, right? So you need to continuously look through your platform strategy, your media, right? And ensure you're there on YouTube. You have a YouTube channel, your company has a LinkedIn page, Twitter profile, and whatever not, right? So I'm sure that you already know. And then we have earned media. So right now I'm broadcasting this live on 4 Facebook platforms, right? And obviously, if the more and more people share that, that would obviously be earned media, free media, right? More shares, more mentions, reposts, views. And that's free of charge. That's free of charge. I don't pay anything for it. I don't pay anything for it, right? And obviously, we have another channel which is called the paid forms of digital marketing, and that's where some of these big companies earn lots of money today, right? So the Googles of this world, the Facebooks of this world, perhaps Instagram, who's also owned by Facebook, they their financial model, income model, is primarily based on advertising, right? So you can do what we call pay-per-click ads, display ads, SEM, search engine marketing, right? SEM. You can do retargeting or remarketing. You can also have paid influencers. Now in Sri Lanka, influencers are not very big. We don't have monetized influencers in Sri Lanka, but in the West, right? Perhaps, whilst doing something like this, if you are holding a brand and perhaps drinking a brand of coffee, Dilma tea or something like that, the people who are doing that gets paid, they get monetized. And especially on YouTube and on Instagram and various other channels, it's very easy for you to influence. You don't need to be a celebrity. You don't need to be a celebrity. If you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, you can sign up as an Instagram influencer, especially in the West, right? If you look at markets like UK, USA, and even in Europe, right? You have influencers influencers amongst friends, for especially things like makeup and things like that. So influencers are a big business. Sri Lanka, we are yet to really use influencers in a very big way and monetize them. And then you have other content, lead generation, social media ads, and so on and so forth. So you need to make sure that when you're looking through your digital strategy, that you have a good platform strategy, your own media, and you need to have proper optimization on your earned media. You need to understand Google's algorithm on SEO, right? And make sure you're within the top 3-4 searches. I'm going to give you some ideas a little later on how you can get there. And then obviously paid media. You need to make sure you look at ROI on paid media in terms of your pay-per-clicks and so on. And that's a whole science by itself. You're not going to learn that overnight. So if there are any entrepreneurs watching today, what I'd like you to do is, if you have an idea, okay, start a public page, a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and start selling something online. I'm waiting till my son's about 10 years for him to start selling something online. Perhaps, I don't know, he has a lot of used games on Nintendo, right? And there are lots of people who want to buy it. In fact, in Sri Lanka, there's no place that you can buy used Nintendo games. It's all brand new games. So there's no one who can share and exchange, so on and so forth. So that's what he likes. So I'm trying to see whether I can have some kind of page where he can start buying and selling and trading, perhaps, right? And that's marketing, that's selling at a very young age. So think about it, okay? Right, so there are many digital analysis tools that we have from Google Analytics. Now, don't get overwhelmed by some of these, right? I'll show you some ideas on how you can basically download them and start using them. Okay, some of them are free mediums and some of them are paid mediums, right? So you need to play around with this, and that's the best way to learn. So you have click-through rates, scroll tracking, heat maps. I'll take you through some examples, A/B testing, multivariate testing, and so on and so forth. Sounds a little technical, but it isn't, right? I am not an IT guy. Now there are two types of digital marketers. One of which is a IT technical digital marketing professional. That's one school. You don't need to be that. You don't need to be that. There are plenty out there who you can outsource what you want to do. Plenty of people, right? I know about 25 people who are really good that you can outsource things. So if I want to do multivariate testing, if I want to do some kind of testing, A/B testing, I do by myself. So you can always work with the techies, but as a digital marketing professional, you need to ask the right questions and you need to put the strategy in its place. You need to put the strategy for your brand in its place, and therefore you need to ask the right questions. In order to do that, conceptually, you need to understand what these theories are, right? User tests, satisfaction surveys, page level surveys, keyword search tools, which I'm going to show you a few today, comparative analysis tools, and so on and so forth. Okay, so here are some basic dashboards on Google Analytics. I spend a lot of my time looking through Google Analytics. In fact, I have Google Analytics on my phone, which I've installed. So if you can look through my phone, right, you have Google Analytics right there, which I look through about twice or thrice a day. I don't know that you can see it, right? So it's an app. You can download the app. You obviously have My Business. You have a separate account for Google My Business. If you're using Google Ads for Business Manager, you have another app. So you need to make sure you start playing around with this. So three apps that I would recommend if you want to get started with digital marketing. Kindly avoid writing on my screen. Kindly avoid writing on my screen. Thank you. Right. So if you want to download three good apps, one of which is your My Business, My Business account on Google, and then your Ads Manager on Facebook, which is very important, and then Google Analytics for your website. So those are three good apps that you need to have on your phone that you need to constantly monitor. So you can look through lots of dashboards. Okay, I'm just I'm thinking about showing you some of these examples that I use. So I might be showing you some confidential information. That's okay. Right? So here you go. This is what I check every day. This is my Cambridge College Google My Business page. It's actually blocked at the moment because of something funny I tried doing a couple of weeks ago. So I'm waiting for Google to unlock that. So you need to have a My Business page, and there are lots of views. Can you see here when you keep uploading views? Lots of people keep watching them. Can you see the eye here? Right? So this gets optimized. So if you have some nice content, and this is called content marketing. If you have good content that people would watch, right? You need to keep uploading videos and perhaps other good content that you think would interest people on My Business, right? Then obviously I spoke about Google Analytics. Now, many of you know this, but if you didn't, this is our Cambridge College Google Analytics account that I looked through. A little bit of confidential information here. So how many users, what's the session duration, how long do they stay on our website, what's the bounce rate, a little bit too high, right? That means bounce rate means they come into your website and they look at the homepage and they bounce off, right? So you can strategize. You can look through different markets from which people would join your web page, and you can adjust this dashboard. You can have the different types. How many come through organic search, right? Which means you're optimized on Google. So we are the number one search on Google when it comes to most of our products, especially CRM UK, right? Because we are the world's largest study center for CRM UK, and we have people looking for us from different markets. We have direct people who come directly to our channels, and then certain advertising dashboards. So you can monitor, you can adjust this dashboard by going into the data studio and you can adjust this. I hope you can see my screen. So there are so many kinds of dashboards that you can look at, but I've kept it simple. Right? So it's important that you measure what you do. Now, I don't need an advertising agency to do this. I can do it by myself. It isn't rocket science. right? So start playing around with this. Ads Manager on Facebook, Ads Manager on Facebook. It's a must. It's a must, right? So this is actually my personal Ads Manager page, my personal Ads Manager page. I'm showing you a little bit of confidential information here, right? Okay, so you need to have Ads Manager page and make sure you manage your ads on Facebook as well. So a few other repositories that I'd like you to engage in before I go into a few theories, right? This is one interesting one. This is one interesting one. Can you please type this URL or take note of this URL? It's called analyticsgoogle.com, analytics.google.com, right? This basically has some free courses for anyone who wants to master digital analytics. Okay, Google Analytics. So for beginners, advanced, and you have the ones for professionals. So please try and take these courses. It's a free source. Please use this URL. It's from Google. Okay. And I'm going to run through, if you want some help while studying for Google, whilst you're doing anything in Google, if you want any help, you can go to Google Support, which I use quite a bit. Google Support, which I use quite a bit. Here's the URL, support.google.com. And it has how to set up analytics, how to get your dashboards ready, your reporting, and to get you started. It has a lot of policies and process documents, which is also fairly important. Okay, so you can play around with it. And then here's another important thing. This one's interesting. This actually shows you the live stats. Okay, internet's live stats. So how many people right now at this very moment, how many internet users are in the world right now using, right? And you can watch these live stats. It's internetlivestats.com, right? You can download that and watch live stats. So how many people, how many websites are there at the moment, and keeps changing every minute? How many emails were sent today? How many Google searches today? How many blog posts are being written? And it's interesting to see, the proportion of different channels. How many tweets were sent today versus how many YouTube videos, how many views today? Crazy, right? Billions. How many Insta uploads today? Facebook Live users. I'm one of them at the moment. I'm one of these, right? 2 billion Facebook Live users at the moment. Then you have Google Plus Live users or Google Plus active users, Twitter, Pinterest, Skype calls, websites hacked today. That's an interesting one. How many websites hacked today, right? Computers sold, smartphones sold, tablets sold, internet traffic, which is crazy, almost 7 billion, right? And this is live stats. And this is an interesting one. How many people are using the internet? And your challenge is, given that you have so many people using the internet, how does your brand stand out? How do you stand out as a brand? Okay. How do you stand out as a brand, given all the other promotions and other channels out there? And that remains to be a very big challenge. Okay, so I want to also show you some of the platforms that I use. So this one's a very good source. It's called canva.com. Right? It has a lot of free posters, infographics, presentations, resumes, logos, flyers. You can take down and look through this a little later. You don't need to upgrade. You can use the free sources very effectively. So a part of digital marketing is today, you have a lot of solutions like this on the web that you don't need professionals to start using. In fact, if you want to have your own web page, you don't need to know all the languages, right? You can design your own web page and you can launch it as well, You can launch it as well. You don't need a professional, and you need to know how to use some of these repositories. This one's an interesting one, Lumen 5. Yeah, this one's an interesting one. I do all my videos on Lumen. Of course, there are so many channels that you can use, so many softwares. But Lumen's an interesting one. It's very easy. It has a lot of pre-programmed videos that you can use, and you just need to write the content on the video and publish it. And if you want some extra features, you can upgrade it. But without upgrading too, you can do some very good quality videos. I use another one called Descript as well, which is not here, which is actually in my apps in my Apple computer, right? So it's called Descript. Use that as well. It's amazing software for videos. So if you want to see, okay, how mobile friendly your web page is, here's a URL that you can use. Here's a URL that you can use, right? Search.google.com, search.google.com, right? And you can type your URL here. You can type your URL here. So I'm going to type our URL here, www.ccbm.lk. And it'll analyze and tell you, as you can see, how mobile friendly. Did you know that today internet consumption is done mostly on your mobile? Internet consumption is done mostly on your mobile, right? If you want the exact statistics, I can share it with you. I have it so you can look at it by market. In Sri Lanka, what is it? In the States, what it is? You can look at it by country. And in Sri Lanka too, you can look at it by device as well, whether it's Android or an Apple, and whether it's a desktop, a tab, a gaming device. And it's amazing to see. And you can look at the source. You can look at the source of the search engine. What is the most popular one, right? Right now, 92% of people in the world are using Chrome. 92% of the people in the world are using Chrome, the most popular one. Safari has only about 3%. So if you're using Safari, you're one of the 3% of the people, right? So you can look at that data. It's all available. And it's real time. So as you can see, I ran a mobile friendly test at the moment on our website, and it says, Google says, okay, there are page loading issues, but the page is mobile friendly. And it shows how it can be seen. So that's a very interesting repository that you can use, Solution by Google. Okay. This is another important website that I want all of you to go to and try your digital marketing skills, right? This one's called targetinternet.com, right? And you can go there and you can take a test, a digital marketing test, and you can instantly, after you finish the test, they'll give you a report benchmarking yourself out there. So CRM is also partnering this program, right? They'll benchmark your digital marketing knowledge across these disciplines, and they will give you a spider diagram. And show you where you are strong and where you are weak. And this is an amazing tool. It's a free tool. You can use it immediately. In fact, after we finish right now, you can start using and do a benchmarking test on your digital marketing knowledge for yourself, right? The mobile friendly test I looked through. This one's also an interesting one. This one's the #1 podcast search engine in the world. The #1 podcast search engine in the world, right? So podcasting is very popular in the West, not so much popular here in Sri Lanka. The take-up is not at the desired levels, but this is the search engine for podcasting. So if I want to understand what are the free podcasts for marketing. So you can see when you type that, you can see there are many podcasts. Many podcasts. Oops, I need to sign up to log in. So here you go. It has lots of podcasts, very good podcasts. And I listen to this all the time, right? I listen to this all the time. And there are many. If you want to learn what is from the best from influencer marketing, you can watch this. This is a 30-minute one. So similarly, this is actually the search engine for podcasts. And there are so many podcasts, marketing trends, as you can see here. If you have time to learn, there's one more important thing, and it's a free source, so you can register for it free of charge. Okay, this one's also another interesting repository. I want you to try and register. It's called the Content Marketing Institute. It's called the Content Marketing Institute. Sorry about that. It's called the Content Marketing Institute, right? So try and register on this. This basically has lots of ideas on how you can develop a good content marketing strategy. It's the #1 repository in the world for content marketing. So if you want to have very good content on your social platforms, right? You can look through some of the free resources here, free resources on ebooks and so on and so forth. I look at this quite a bit. Okay. Let me show you a few other things I use. Well, for monitoring social media and your competitor benchmarking, you can use Mention. Which is a very good source to monitor your social media against your competitors, right? It will give you very immediate results and interesting reports as well. Google Trends is actually a very good repository. See, Google has so many solutions. Google has so many solutions. We only use Gmail, right? This one is by market. So you can look at different markets. Of course, Sri Lanka, you don't get too much of information. So you can look at different markets. This is the Australian market. So it tells you, what the top searches are, gives you a fair degree of statistics on what's happening right now and what the main trends are, who are the main influencers. And there are lots of interesting PDFs that you can download depending on the market. So if you're from the UK or if you're from the States, you have lots and lots of information, rich information that you can download, and reports that you can read more, and videos that you can watch as well. So as you can see, here are the topics at the moment, the most trending topics in 2020. So the January report will be out in a few days, even as the month ends. Who are the public figures? Who are the various types of influencers by different market? So it's fairly interesting. You can have a look at that, right, on Google Trends. Then, if any of you want to generate a QR code, obviously, not every business would want to use it, but today with the advent of Corona, if you don't want people signing when they walk into your store, everyone can use their mobile phone and, register online through a QR code, which is fairly useful. And then this one's an interesting one. I don't know whether you knew about this. This one's a very interesting one. If you know that obviously Google and companies like Facebook has your personal information. They have your personal information. Now, if you want to know what Google has in terms of information kept about you, you can go into adsettings.com in Google, right? And here's the information. If you don't want them, you have to turn this off. But here's the information they have about me, that I'm 35 to 44 years old, male. I love Google and some of the other apps and things that I use. So if you want to know what you use, what is your profile, you can go on to this and it will show you what it's showing, what it has about, right? That is adsettings.google.com. It will show you what they are tracking with regards to your personal information. That's amazing. That's amazing. And you can turn this off if need be, and then they say that they're going to stop tracking you, right? I don't know. All right. Here's another interesting one. Here's another interesting one. I hope you're taking some of these things down. This is Think with Google. I love this repository. I love this repository. I wait till they come out with stuff so that I can start reading. I wait for them to come up with stuff, right? This one's Think with Google. This basically has all the latest trends, some interesting videos, blockchain to 5G to some of the contemporary trends, right? So it has lots of marketing strategies for mobile, for retail, for big data and the future of marketing, digital transformation, creative. So this has insights, so many things, right? So this is a very important free repository for you. Please visit this Think with Google and register for free updates. It's a very, very useful source. It's a very useful source. As you can see, there are lots of things that you can learn. You don't need anyone to teach you, right? Having said that, do come by and get qualified at Cambridge College. We're the largest study center in the world for CIM UK. We right now have, in this cohort alone, over 2,000 students studying with us, mastering digital marketing and strategic marketing as well, right? So in terms of page speed insights, if you want to, again, I'm showing my URL here, www.ccbm.lk. So if you want to gauge the page speed, this is a Google solution as well, right? This is a Google solution as well, as you can see. So it shows me my desktop and my mobile speed. Now this is very, very useful because according to Google's new algorithm, Google is going to ensure that pages that don't load fast won't get optimized on their search engine. Now that means even if you have a good page, very good products, people are not going to look for you online because you're not there in the top 5 to 6 searches. Why? Because you can see now even our website on the desktop, on the desktop is only 51% optimized. We have another 50% more that we can improve, another 50% more that we can improve. So if you have a website, do this to your website and understand. So it looks at broadly 4 factors. As you can see here, it takes about 4 minutes to load. So first input delay, the definitions are here as well. Total blocking time, cumulative layout shift. So there are definitions for all this. So basically you need to avoid these reds. You need to avoid these reds and move towards the green zone, So you might need to work with some technical experts here. After you see this, you might need to question your IT guys, your technical experts. How can I optimize this and be close to 100%? But it's very difficult to get to 100%. But this is very important, folks. This is very, very important. Mobile, as you can see, my website is not very fast on mobile, and I'm working on it at the moment. So that's a big problem. So it's to do with how much of pictures. As you can see, my site has some heavy pictures on it, and it's to do with how you manage your backlinks to the data that you have, the copy that you have, and the number of pictures used. So you need to have a good balance between that, and it's very difficult to be extremely optimized. But you have to work with your technical guys on this to identify where the problems are and to fix it. Okay, so that's how you would look at your page speed, which is critical. All right. And then I'd like all of you to look at this repository, right? I've watched most of these videos. This is your Google Analytics repository. To learn Google Analytics by watching videos, short videos. They're not long videos. So if you're doing CIM with us, if you're studying any course, the MSc in digital marketing that we have at Cambridge College, I would recommend that all of you start with the most simple videos here. Start with the most simple videos here. There are many, many videos. As you can see, they're very friendly videos.
Hey everyone, I'm Krista Seiden, and I'm here today to talk to you about getting started with the new Google Analytics 4 property. I'm super excited about this, as I hope you are too. So let's go ahead and dive into the slide deck for a quick overview. To set the stage, it's no secret that we're living through a period of immense change, and end user privacy is top of mind. Around the world, regulatory changes such as CCPA and GDPR have raised the bar for end user privacy. Browsers and other platforms are making changes to core technologies, such as cookies, that measurement systems have relied on for years. And end users themselves are demanding more transparency and control over how their data gets used. At the same time, the amount of data that's being generated from countless business touchpoints and platforms that customers interact with continues to increase exponentially. So businesses are investing in analytics to navigate all of this, which is why, according to Forbes, 50% of businesses say that big data and analytics have fundamentally changed business practices in their sales and marketing departments. And that's why Google is investing too. With Google Analytics, the mission is to build a unified offering for user-centric analytics across app and web for all clients. The GA team is building on what you know today as the app and web property beta, and leveraging this new infrastructure to power the next generation of Google Analytics. App and web properties are graduating from beta and are being renamed to Google Analytics 4 properties. More importantly, they will become the default for when new properties are created in Google Analytics. At a high level, there are 3 areas that set the new Google Analytics 4 property apart. First, it's built with machine learning at its core to automatically uncover insights from your data that you can use to improve your marketing. Second, it provides a more complete understanding of your full customer lifecycle, from acquisition to retention, by bringing together data across app and web at scale. Third, it's built to be durable. It will scale with your business, and looking ahead, it will work with or without cookies and take advantage of modeling so that you can learn about your customers even with gaps in your data. So with that, let's talk a little more about the features you'll find in the new Google Analytics experience. There are several new and exciting features that are now available in Google Analytics 4 properties. First, event editing and synthesis. This allows you to modify and collect new events and conversions without writing code. You can do this within the UI. Next, we have data import. And these capabilities have been expanded with both the measurement protocol, which is now available for app and web events, and with dimension widening, so you can use data that you can upload directly. Then we have cross-domain measurement. Not only is this now supported, but it's now easier to set up because you can do it from within the UI without writing code. Then there's new lifecycle reporting. The team has worked hard to reorganize and simplify reporting, basing it around the customer lifecycle. And they've expanded it to include e-commerce reporting, which is one of the most requested and important features to businesses today. It's now easier for you to adopt Google Analytics 4 properties because there are new migration tools. There's a new setup assistant, which is a one-stop shop for all of your setup resources and tools, which includes a new Getting Started wizard, which automates the setup process in just a few clicks. And finally, there's a new streamlined onboarding flow, making Google Analytics 4 properties the new default when you create a new property in Google Analytics. So as you can see, there's a lot of new and exciting features in Google Analytics 4, and the future is looking bright. So go ahead and get started today with dual setup, meaning keep your current Universal Analytics property, but go ahead and get started with a Google Analytics 4 property so that you can leverage the exciting advancements that are coming with GA4 properties.
There you go. That's Google Analytics for you. I just played one video there, but there are so many videos that you can, have bite-sized learning where it's not intimidating. I hope the session has been good so far. I would like you to mute your mics if you don't mind. Mute your mics. If you could kindly mute your mics because there's some disturbance. All right. Okay. So let me share with you a few other insights. So some of these tools that we use in digital marketing, I spoke about analytics, Google Analytics, Insights, Google Analytics, in terms of the repository with videos. This one's a good one as well, right?
Hey everyone,
this one's
I'm
a good
Krista
one.
Seidel.
This is Data Reportal, right? Please try and download this. Please try and download this report that you see here on Sri Lanka. In terms of our students, I think I've shared this report. This is for Jan. You have the latest report as well for Jan 2021. So if you register on the site, it's a free site. It has all the global insights. So if you want global insights, you can go into various other markets and you can type any market you want, and the very detailed presentations on digital behavior. And that's actually, when I looked at this report, is actually when I learned that Pinkfong is the #1 highest watched YouTube video in the world today, right? So it's very important that every month you keep yourself up to date. As you can see, in terms of Sri Lanka, it offers a lot of insights, key insights. It says Jan 2020, but the Jan 2021 report is also out. The Jan 2021 global report is also out. So please have a look at that. So it gives you all the important statistics that you would need in terms of devices, in terms of internet usage, social media, influencers, and YouTube statistics, and so on and so forth. So have a look at that. That is something that you need to subscribe for and look at every month, right? Okay, so one of the key things in digital marketing, guys, is for you to try and integrate. Okay, you need to have a strategy where you upload content. Try and upload content on a daily basis. That's a good habit, right? And when you do that, you obviously have your Facebook page, you have perhaps your LinkedIn account, you have your YouTube platform. Now you would have your TikTok, right? But you need to be careful because these repositories are sensitive to content. These repositories are sensitive to content. So you can't share what you directly share on Facebook, sometimes on perhaps LinkedIn, because it's a more business, more professional kind of platform. So you need to be mindful about that. So you need to have, perhaps you'll have a couple of pages on Facebook, more than one. Then you'll have a YouTube page for your videos. You would have a LinkedIn profile. And then you would obviously have perhaps a Snapchat, depends on the types of business, because Snapchat advertising reaches a different audience. So you need to be mindful of the type of content as well as the type of audience. Now, how do you understand the type of audience in Sri Lanka that are on these platforms? The Data Reportal report will show you that. The Data Reportal report will show you that. You can subscribe to it also from other paid sources like Social Bakers. There are so many others that I will show you examples. But those are paid sources. So if you wait for a published report, obviously you would know where your customers are, Obviously, to integrate this, you somewhere, these are your platforms. You also then have your website. You have your website, right? So your website is key. Your website is key. Your website is key because that's where e-commerce takes place. That's where e-commerce takes place. So you have your Facebook page, you have your LinkedIn account, you have YouTube, you have TikTok, you have perhaps your Insta, which is very important, your Insta, right? Instagram. You would have all the channels driving traffic to your website, driving traffic to your website, driving traffic to your website. Now, this strategy here surrounding your platforms, driving traffic into your website. So obviously you need to promote your website when you post something on this. So if they're interested in your content, then they will come into your website. And inside your website, you would find, right? Inside your website, you would find a funnel. Inside your website, you would find the funnel. What do you mean by the funnel? The funnel is once people come into your website, do they just look at your home page and bounce off? That's called the bounce rate. The bounce rate. You need to look at that in Google Analytics. You need to look at that. So one of the key things when I wake up in the morning, key metrics that I look at, how many people visited my website? How many people? How many people visited my website? Web visits. So I get depressed, okay? I get depressed because if my website visits have gone down, I get depressed. I don't know. It's fairly addictive because I see it on my app. I see it on my app. Business is down if your website visits are down. It's very simple. It's very, very simple, right? Now, hoity-toity qualified CMOs and board members might not know this, but you know it. You know it because you are part of that generation. So when I look at it, on my phone, it compares with yesterday, have I increased? With last week at this time, have I increased my website visits? And I can last month this time to look at the seasonality impact. Have I increased or reduced? So if it's red color, my God, big problem because my website traffic has come down. And if my website traffic comes down, then it's a big problem because customers are not looking for me. Customers are, right? They're not informed. They're probably looking at your competitor. They're not looking for you. So you need to have a strategy to drive more people to your website. But watch your bounce rate. Watch your bounce rate. How many people bounce off after they come into your website? If they come through their mobile, and if your website's not mobile friendly, they'll bounce off. So you need to sit and think as a customer. Why would a customer bounce off your website or your mobile? And you need to remove all the friction. You need to remove all the friction. You need to do what we call a customer journey, which is a theory by itself. And you need to remove the friction that would ensure customers bounce off. Another key metric is the average amount of time that they spend, the time. So right now, I know it's about 2 minutes and 2 seconds in terms of time that they spend on my website. So you need to try and increase that. The more you increase that, that means you need to have more things to do on your website. That's where gamification comes in. That's where videos come in. That's where information, engaging information. Again, that is to do with content on your website. Engaging content. What can they look at? That's why in websites, they have resources for you to go and look at reports. You might have an infographic. You might have other things to read and watch and play, right? So then this goes up. So 3 key things that you need to do. One is drive traffic. Number 1, traffic. Number 2, watch your bounce rate. Number 3, look at the average time that they spend. So on your Google Analytics dashboard, it gives you these 3 simple things. And then comes your funnel. If you have people who have visited your website, how do you get them to buy? Buy. At the end of the funnel is buy. Check out. The cart. That's the challenge. So obviously, if you have a page, you need to have it IPG enabled, which means Internet Payment Gateway enabled. And they must be able to buy online. And how can you get the guy go towards the checkout and buy. That is a science that we call CRO. CRO. Is a science that we call CRO, which is taught in a subject called digital optimization in CI. CRO stands for conversion rate optimization. Conversion rate optimization. So how do you convert the guy who visits your website and take him through the steps of awareness, interest, desire, and action, the basic AIDA framework, or we in digital marketing say the RACE framework. The RACE framework. So I don't want to take you through very technical terminology. So you apply the RACE framework or the AIDA framework, the RACE framework to get the guy to convert through this funnel and buy your product online. So if you see your sales going up, the chances are your traffic is going up, your bounce rates are going down, and your average time spent is high. Your content is good. Now, one thing I failed to mention here. I can't stand right now. Okay, I can't stand right now. You know why? Because it's a new normal. You know what the new normal is? The new normal is this. You see me wearing a shirt, but I'm in shorts. Okay. You see me wearing a shirt, but I'm in shorts. So I can't show you my legs at the moment live. So therefore, that's a new normal. That's the greatest thing about COVID. That's the most brilliant thing about the pandemic, right? Okay. You can be in shorts and slippers. All right. So I'm not going to stand, but let me show you this. Now, all this is your digital channels driving traffic, But you can also use your offline channels driving traffic to your website as well. Offline. So what are your offline channels? Now, this is where the traditional marketers are very good. Newspaper ads. Okay. How many people will read a newspaper and go to a website? There's a question there. Because you can't click anything, you have to go and type the whole URL. Perhaps a TV ad, perhaps a poster or a billboard. I don't know why people spend money on those things. Perhaps because they don't know about this. That's why they do it. So it's ignorance, right? Because here you can measure your pay-per-click. You can measure how many people are clicking, how many people are the click-through rates, how many people are coming by clicking. You can click the average cost per click. You can understand, crazy dimensions. There are so many metrics that you can look at. You can even gauge for X amount of sale, how much do you need to spend to get what level of clicks. So this whole conversion funnel can be digitally planned, right? In Google Analytics and even in Facebook. Now I ran an A/B test. What is the A/B test? I'll explain it to you later. So when I run advertisements, sometimes I halfway go and stop it because I know I'm not getting the desired reach. I'm not getting the desired visits. But when I run some types of ads with some keywords at the right time of the day when everyone's watching, then obviously you can see your hits going up immediately. So you can use offline methods and online methods to drive traffic to your website. And that is a science. Okay. So if there are a few other repositories, that before I close, I'd like all of you to go and visit. Let me share my screen with you again. So one other thing that I missed telling you here is, so I hope this is clear for you. You have a website bang in the center there, right? That does support e-commerce. And then you have in blue, you have your platforms, your Facebook, your Insta, your TikToks, your Snapchats, your LinkedIns, your YouTubes driving traffic to your website. And then you have in black color the offline methods of communication, the traditional media, the traditional advertising, radio, TV, press, magazine, outdoor, so on and so forth, right? All of them. So today you will see the blacks are getting smaller and smaller and diminishing. and the blues are getting bigger and bigger. The ad budgets that are spent on platforms are increasing tremendously, and the other areas, the traditional methods, are shrinking. And one thing I failed to mention here is you might also have what we call, you might also have email engine. You might also have an email engine. Email is also a very useful source, right? So you might have an email engine. So it can be a digital platform as well. So I will show you some of the free sources that you can use. So this is another strategy that you need to have here is today people might be visiting these social platforms. People might be visiting these social platforms, but they log out of it and they go back and your brand is not seen again. Now that is called remarketing. Can you take that down? Remarketing or retargeting. Remarketing or retargeting. Now Facebook gives us what we call pixels, right? Pixels. So if you are regular advertiser on Facebook, you can use Facebook Pixels. It's a simple click. I use it all the time. What it means is if someone has come and checked your ad out once and he has not looked at it again, when you advertise the next time, that guy will start seeing your ad. So a small program called a cookie targets that customer again because he has looked at it once, obviously he's interested, and he has stayed there for over 30 seconds. That means he's looked at the video, he's looked at your content, he's interested. And therefore, the pixel will make sure you don't have any digital media waste. You target again those same customers, right, who have liked your ad. Because sometimes the AIDA process, the consumer does not buy at once. Consumer the first time would look at it. Think about you. When you look at something online, you don't buy it immediately, no? It is not love at first sight, right? You first read about it, then you think through it. Then you need to see whether your friends have bought it or not. Again, the ad comes 1 week later. You are being retargeted and remarketing through pixels, right? Again, now you are building interest. But again, something happens, you log out, right? You get out of the feed. And then 1 month later, again, it shows to you. Now you have seen it a few times. Now you know about it. Awareness is there. Interest is there. Now you will be thrown a discount, 15% off if you get it within the next 24 hours. Wow, I need to do it now. Now that is a science of remarketing and retargeting. And today, lots of companies use this. So you can use it on advertising. You can use it on email, having an email platform, right? With RSS feeds. And I'll share with you an email platform that we use called sender.com. And email today, there's spam, which is a challenge. People not opening emails is a challenge. But then if you are sending it to people who have inquired about your products, right? If you're remarketing to people who have inquired about your products, then that kind of email strategy works. So email is a very effective tool because you can keep building and building and building an email database and making sure, of course, if you are emailing them, you need to make sure that they can opt out from your email and you can't target them again if they opt out. That's called permission marketing or opt-in marketing, right? So you need to make sure that they can opt out of your email campaign. That's very important, right? In Sri Lanka, of course, no one will take you to court, but in the West, it's a huge problem. There's GDPR, the global standard for all this, the consumer protection and so on and so forth, right? So you have your email repository, which will continue to grow with all the leads that you get in conferences. People visit you in your showroom. You can get emails from your lead generation. You can get emails from your inbox. You can get emails from so many sources, inquiries, telephone. So that base will only grow. And then you have your traditional methods driving traffic to your website, and you have the contemporary digital platforms, most of them free, and you will advertise as well, $10, $15, $25, $30, where you'll boost and make sure that people come to your website. And then you'll convert them through convert rate optimization strategies. And the idea there is making sure they buy at the end of the day. Key metrics, I'll repeat them. Website traffic, bounce rates, website traffic needs to go up, bounce rates needs to come down, and then you need to make sure the average time that they spend on your website is increasing, and then your content is good on the website for them to start filling that application or writing that receipt or whatever it is for them. It must be a friction-free process for them to buy your product online, a friction-free process. Sometimes you can install a chatbot here. You can use AI. You can have a bot that will come and talk to you. You can have live chat support. So AI today is used by many, right? In order to improve your conversion rate, And depending on the types of customers that you're remarketing to, AI can throw them discounts. AI can throw them offers within the next 24 hours, coupons, redeemable coupons. There's a whole strategy behind conversion rate optimization. Right? I hope this is clear. Right? Okay. So a few other sources before we conclude that I'd like you in today's masterclass. So I'm going to repeat perhaps next week another masterclass for you. But in today's masterclass, a few other repositories that I'd like you to look at. So here's the sender dashboard. Here's the sender dashboard that we use for email. Right? It's a free source. So if any of you want to use this, you can use. So there are some video tutorials as well. Sender is a very good email repository. HubSpot. HubSpot has a lot of free resources. Please subscribe to HubSpot. And HubSpot actually is a solution. They have so many kinds of solutions, but one of the solutions in HubSpot actually help you, right? Let me explain this again using this. So sometimes, now this whole science of uploading content on all your platforms becomes a big problem, because when you have to go into every single social channel and upload it. But is there a way that when you upload one social channel, everything else gets uploaded? Imagine how much of time you'll save. Otherwise, you have to type the same hashtags. You have to type the same, you'll make mistakes. It'll take a lot of time. So we call that a content hub. So you can use HubSpot as a content hub. It's one of the best content hubs that you can find out there. There are free content hubs. That means if you can link all your stuff, and when you just go and upload perhaps your Facebook page, your Twitter account, everything gets uploaded. Everything, right? If you have multiple Facebook pages, if you have LinkedIn profiles, Insta profiles, all those things get uploaded at the same. So I'd like to write that here as well. So what's your hub strategy? Right? What's your hub strategy? So your hub will take care of this. Hub will syndicate information. And make sure everything is uploaded at the same time. You'll save a lot of time. You'll save a lot of time. So try and go on to HubSpot. It's a free repository that has a lot of stuff for you to learn as well as download, and beginners guides and so many things. Very interesting source, right? Very interesting source. Okay, Deloitte is another big one. I spend a lot of time in Deloitte, but Deloitte's mostly on strategy and disruptive technologies for different sectors. So if you're part of any of these sectors, you have sector reports. So banking and finance, consumer markets, retail, services, technology, and then there's various insights as well that come about, right? So digital transformation is one of them that I spend a lot of my time in. And these are all reports, very, very interesting reports. Industry 4.0, Tech Trends 2020, and you can see automation, AI, all these are free reports. Lots of videos here as well, very good videos. Please use this Deloitte Insights. So two important websites that I use, guys, is Deloitte and the other one's McKinsey. So McKinsey is another one that has a lot of rich information. As you can see here, you have the various industries. So if you're part of the industry, so if you're now I'm into education, so there's real estate, there's retail, banking and finance. So McKinsey is also an interesting site that has a lot of free reports. Okay, so please look at that, as well as Future Insights. So you can see again, lean management, artificial intelligence, digital disruption, all that you would find there. So please look through that. And then another interesting tool that you might want to use is the keyword search tool. So obviously, you know that Google has keywords that they use for their algorithm. And if you want to buy some of these keywords, now in our industry, you can buy keywords like MBA, DBA, degree, CIM. Those are some of the keywords, but they come at a higher price because everyone wants to buy them. So if you're looking for those words, then you have to sometimes have a bid strategy. You have to bid for it. And if anyone else is not bidding, then you'll get it at a good price. But if others are bidding for it, then it goes to the highest bidder. So keyword tools. Now you can look at the type of keywords. So if I type here, this one's one tool, Twinword. So let's look at CIM. So it's gathering suggestions. So can you see here? It's generating average transactions, SEO competition. I have to compete with 100 others. So if I'm bidding, I have to bid with, so paid competition. And you can see, the various options there. Somewhere down there, you'll have Cambridge College as well. So it doesn't show you all the words because it's not the paid version. So if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade this, or you can use the free word as free one as well. That will show you the first few. Okay. Another free keyword search tool, interesting one, is this one's a very good one. Keyword search tool, right? So I'll type CIM there again. So there you go. Most of this is blocked, but you can, if you unlock it, you can see what people are looking for. You can see what people are looking for in terms of CIM, what are the keywords, and this will help your search engine marketing strategy, right? So are people, what are the kind of names people, what are the names people type, right? So you will see what the most popular ones are, and then you can bid. So there you go, CIM Cambridge College. Some people have gone and typed CIM Cambridge College in the search engine as well. Okay, so these are some of the keyword tools. Now, here's another very interesting repository, right? Here's another very interesting repository. So those of you watching us on Facebook, I'd like to request you to try and share it on your page as well if you find this interesting, so that others can learn something about digital marketing. Okay, so this one's called Facebook IQ. Log into this. This one's a good one. I mean, it has, just like Google Analytics, it has everything that you need to know in terms of the new trends, Facebook's algorithm, different types of market reports. Unfortunately, Sri Lanka is not in it, but you can look through India. You can look at other markets like Bangladesh, which has a close resemblance. So you have a lot of free stuff that you can download. You can download Gen Z. What are they looking for? Obviously, Sri Lanka is not there, but lots of interesting resources. post-pandemic, what are the new trends? Google, if you want to get, Facebook, if you want to get the best out of your Facebook advertising, your ads manager, in terms of your content strategy, your optimizing strategy, how and what would you do is all there. Best practice. So it's Facebook for business, Facebook for business. This one's called Facebook IQ, Facebook IQ. Good source that I use quite a bit, right? And then here's another one. This one's a very good one, right? Now, in digital marketing, we use something called a persona. What is a persona? And these are 20 free persona examples and templates that you can use, right? What do you mean by a persona? So a persona basically personifies who your typical customer is. Personifies your typical customer. Here's an example of a persona, right? So what do you mean by a persona? So there are two things that you need to master in this whole digital ecosystem. Two other things that you need to master. One is the customer journey. The journey that the customer takes. I'll show you a slide on that. So customer journey is important. What is the journey, that the online journey as well as the offline journey the customer takes? I'll show you a slide on that. And our job is to remove any friction in the journey of the buying process of a customer. Okay. And in order to do this, you need to first understand your online segment, your customer segment. Now, to understand that segment, we do a persona. This is critical. These two things are critical. Before you do any of these, you need to understand these two. So a persona is a typical customer. So you can even give the customer a name, male or female, as you can see here. What are the traits of the customer? What are the interests of the customer? Music behavior, favorite brands used by the customer. Now, you might ask, Louis, why are we doing this? Here's another persona. This has 20 interesting templates of how to undertake a persona, right? So you have various infographics. So this all describes your customer. The geographic variables of your customer, psychographic variables of your customer, demographic variables of your customer, perhaps the behavioral variables of your customer, right? This is fairly critical. Now, I'm looking at this. See, this business is saying, here's Miss Robinson, okay, age 26, undergraduate, customer profile, busy PhD student who needs a quiet place to study and read without distractions. This is our ideal user persona, right? Motivations, high quality, strong coffee. So this is probably a coffee company. Frustrations, let's not go through that, right? Favorite coffee beans, right? Goals in life. So this will help you. Why would we need a persona? Is it something that we just do and just display it somewhere and put it in our marketing plan? Why would you need a persona? You need a persona because when you advertise on your Facebook or your Google or your other channels, you need to do micro-targeting. What do you mean by micro-targeting? Today, I can't obviously do it on my account at the moment, right? Because I have a lot of confidential stuff there. You can select on Facebook micro-targeting or targeted customers. So you can I can target my ads to be seen for ages between 22 to 30, Western province, people who are with an undergraduate degree, because they have put it, Facebook has their data. So my ad will only be seen by these people, undergraduate degree holders, people who are in the Western province, male or female, people who have said their interest is marketing, right? People who like traveling. Now I'm going to psychographics. people who like wildlife, people who like photography. So I can put some interests just to get the profile and the personality right. So I can put a lot of such information and target, do some micro targeting. And then it immediately tells me, Facebook immediately tells me, there are 730,000 people in your profile. Put $50 to have so much of reach. 4,000 people reached within the next 4 days. The moment you do that, if your ad is not violating any restrictions, your ad will be seen by everyone. Now that's the beauty of doing personas, because when you do a persona, you can share it with everyone, your marketing team. You can share it with your digital marketing execution team. And then they know when they're doing micro targeting, what is the kind of profile, demographic, psychographic, geographic profile they need to use to do their micro targeting, I hope that was helpful, right? So here are useful templates. Please go through this. This is actually the URL. It also has some fun stuff for so on and so forth. Right, pets and so on and so forth. So you can look through that. Very interesting stuff. I'm fairly intrigued by some of these. I mean, some of them don't even have any words written. It's what's inside your handbag, right? So how you're describing your customers, what's the persona? Okay. So there's one more tool that I'd like to show you, but I think I'll reserve it for next week. So I hope you liked today's session. And for those of you who would like to have a copy of my book, please email me, and I would like to, or you can WhatsApp me. This is my number, 0773 700 871. And I'd like to WhatsApp a copy of my book to you, or you can email me at louis@ccbm.lk, or visit our website and download a free book on marketing and business strategy. Okay, I hope today's session was useful. If you do have any questions, unfortunately, I can't take any questions now, but if you do have any questions, I'd like you to get in touch with me and DM me separately. All right. Thank you. We'll meet again for another session on your digital marketing masterclass, and I look forward to it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Now, we're going to get real weird here in a second. Okay.